So there are things that people do in secret that makes them to shine in the open. Whatever you see in the open is just a tip. When you get to them, they will now tell you the secret. Because everybody is using something. Just be sure that what you are using is the right one.
Everybody is
using something.
Everybody just be sure that the one you are using is the right one. Because if you are not using something, they are using something against you. Because you are either in the secret court or you are in the secret place. There's no middle ground. You are just you are going to be like a chicken where they go kill for Christmas. They will buy you for January, feed you till November, kill you for December. So all the love they are showing you is to kill you in December because you don't understand. So when I now began to study all these people, I now saw all the principles that everybody, that was what led to my first book, How to Be a Millionaire, now called Pathway to Wealth. And I now wrote that to the primary constituency of the church, say, let me deliver the church from this foolishness first, before I now go to the world. That's when I now release School of Money for the World. So all the things I learned, and now they're like, what? You mean these things are inside Bible? He gave one gift. He gave one this. He went to bury his gift. I say, wow. So I now say, okay, all this is why I don't study. I will practice it for myself. So many things I noticed is number one, there is no rich man on earth that is a salary earner.
There's no rich man on earth who is a salary earner.
None. Everyone that is wealthy today, they don't depend on salary alone. Number two, there is no rich man on earth that has only one source of income.
Never.
Not one. Number three, every rich man on earth, all of them without fail, real estate is part of what they use to retain their wealth. So when I study, I say, that's when I realized that I don't discover the principle. I now applied it. My brother, in this same Nigeria, in 3 years, my story changed. In 3 years, I said, that's so easy. Why? Because let me use this to help pastors. Now, I was a pastor, full-time man of God. I've been a pastor, I've been in ministry since 1988, 89. And this now I'm discovering it in 1998. I don't do the full time.
10
I
years
don't do
later.
anything. I'm called to ministry. We're just going to serve God. I carry certificate. I drop them. When I started this church 29 years ago, the church I pastor now, I was full time. I was working. I left the job. Say, God, don't call me. I left job. Sat down. I will sit down at home in my mother's house in the Kotu. And then I will be sitting down. People will be going to say, Pastor, good morning, sir. Please, I bought a wagon. The man didn't give me change. He's saying we come around 11, but I don't go there, me collect change. True life story. 1995. This was my life. When I started this church, 1995, they will do, please, when let me take key. I became an errand boy. So I began to ask, come, you are called, you are anointed, you are sitting down. Are you sure this full-time thing is not foolishness? You mean that God called you to sit down to be collecting key and they were going to change? Go and revisit this thing. That's when I broke free from this full-time something. So when 1998 now came, because see, you can be poor as a single man, but don't try it as a married man. Your eye go. You say love is blind. Married, you open your eyes. You go. Your eye goes. When you see responsibility, you see your responsibility. So when I noticed all those things, I put it. So I was a pastor, but at that point, I now realized by virtue of what he taught me that in order for you to become rich and wealthy, number one, you need financial intelligence. You need delayed gratification. You need savings. You need multiple streams of income. I now began to practice also. That's when I started writing books. I've written over 100 books right now. Now, but the books are already in me. So today now, you see a lot of people out there, they have gifts, but they are not trading their gifts. Money flows in exchange for goods and services. Money flows in exchange for value. So that's your gift. You must turn it into a product or a service that you can exchange for money. You can be gifted and poor. People can celebrate you and say, we have a lot of, poor celebrity beggars now that are just celebrity because they say they are in show business. They know the show. They don't know the business of the show. But the business that know the business of the people that know the business of the show, nobody knows them. But they are the one making the real money. And that one is just doing bling bling, poor man out there. And then they will now begin to cry that they use me. When you do sign, your eye not clear. They force you. It's poverty that made you to sign. You signed it as a poor man. Now you have seen glory. Now you will serve your sentence. Do you understand now? So I don't know if
no, this is really very, very eye-opening. But I go ask, they go tell everybody, say, go school, education, and all. People go, if we go by the system in Nigeria here, 6 years primary school, 6 years secondary
study
school,
this,
4
study
years
economics,
university,
study banking and finance.
And the whole idea is, once you acquire this education,
you work for somebody.
You will break free from the shackles of poverty.
You're good to go.
And you are good to go. But it don't be like, say, the school, waiting that the teacher stop be waiting.
Okay, so let's understand this. Because the challenge we have is that we don't realize that change is the only constant in life. what is true today may be a lie tomorrow. But it doesn't mean it was not true yesterday.
What is true today may be a lie tomorrow.
But it doesn't mean it was not true yesterday. It's because life is lived forward but understood backward. And as we evolve, we learn. Everybody here, there's one statement you have made in your life. If I knew what I know now. Everybody on earth, if you have never made that statement, you are a madman. That means you are not growing. That is a sign of growth. If you say, I will not have done that, that means you are growing. So when you have a single lady as a daughter, what will you tell the girl? Don't sleep with any man. Don't let a man touch you. It's true. You are not lying to her, because at that season of her life, that was what she needed to hear. But when she gets married, don't deprive your husband of sex. So make sure you are. But mommy, are you not the one that told me? No. Now I'm telling you something else. So what I told you before was true. But if I tell you not to allow your husband to touch you now, it's a lie. I'm ruining your life. I'm ruining your marriage. That's the way life is. So when they were telling us, don't forget. You see, people need to just get the School of Money book, get all this book. You see, I explain all these things. The civilization we call civilization today started with what we call the hunter-gatherer state, the caveman era. At that point in time, no school, no nothing. The only thing that people had was energy and skill. They were hunting, running after squirrel, running after antelope, running after all these things. That's all they had, and that's all they needed. If you gave that person $1 billion at that point, they would use and do toilet roll. Because it was useless to them. There was no shopping mall, no shoe, nothing. They didn't even know that anything was wrong. But when they evolved to the realm of agrarian age, that was when land became important. People now started claiming land. Real estate is royal estate. This is the land you need to come to right of occupancy. That it was at that point that we started trade by barter. It was at that point that they started multiple wives, multiple children. It was at that time that slave trade came. All this is were all economic theory to survive that season. Then they evolved from that point to industrial revolution. It was during the industrial age that education came. So during the industrial age, education was set up to take people from the farming slave to factory slave. So they now say, okay, all the intelligent ones that are here now, let's gather them, because this guy be like, say, get some brain. If you tell them something, if they know how to plant, if they answer, put them together and create a curriculum and teach them so that they will know how to handle the factory. Because from orange, we need to produce orange juice. And we need to cancel. They now created courses. Okay, this is accounting, this is chemistry. Question, the first person that became an accountant, who certified him? So somebody sat down and said, come, let's create it. I do curriculum now, so I know what I'm talking about. I've created curriculum that does not exist before, that I created, and it's now existing because I created it. So somebody said, okay, let's do one, we call it accounting. But that person that was creating the curriculum, he himself is not certified. Because nobody certified. He's now the pioneer and the progenitor of a new. That's how all these courses were created. And it was not, schools were not created to make you rich. They were created to discipline and train you to function the way those that need you want you to function. So if you meet with elderly people in their 70s or in their 80s and they are to ask you, they won't ask you what course do you study. They will say, what is your discipline? That's what they won't say, what course do you study? So they say, what is your discipline? That means, what have you been disciplined to become? That's why all your life you have an identity. You go to school, when you come out, they say, what's this? I say, I'm doctor, I'm engineer. You forget your name. You now start introducing yourself with the title they give you. Because you went to school to be trained to become what they want you to become. So there was nothing wrong in education in the days of our parents. But what they did not realize was that the colonial masters were using this for a purpose. That is why we still have the problem today. So when you go to school, they teach you to become this, and then you become it. But the world has evolved. We have moved from industrial age now. We are now in the age of technology. We are in what we call the fourth industrial revolution. The fifth one is imagine now. So all those things now, don't forget that when we were growing up, if you say you want to be an actor, you say, hear me, you want to be a footballer, hey, village people. Today now everybody wants to be a footballer. But all those things have now expired. Now everybody wants to move to the next level, IT, tech, and all the tech.